deep in the heart of East Africa. A quiet revolution is about to take off. 40 kilometers southeast of Addis Ababa, in the small city of Bishoftu, Ethiopia is planning something that could redefine the continent's place in global aviation, a $10 billion airport of the future. A project so vast, so ambitious, that it could handle more passengers than any other airport in Africa. Designed to serve over 100 million travelers every year, this mega airport is meant to transform Ethiopia from a regional connector into one of the world's major aviation hubs. But here's the catch. For every promise of progress, there's an equally massive list of challenges, from funding and engineering to politics and timing. Can Ethiopia really pull off a $10 billion dream before 2030? Or will it become yet another bold African mega project that struggled to take flight? For decades, Addis Ababa has been the beating heart of African air travel. Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's largest and most consistently profitable carrier, turned the capital into a continental gateway, connecting cities from Lagos to London, Nairobi to New York. Bole International Airport has been the epicenter of that success, yet the growth has come at a cost. Built to handle fewer than 10 million passengers a year, Bole now pushes through almost 3 times that number. Runways are crowded, terminals are stretched, and even recent expansions have proven temporary relief rather than a long-term fix. The country's aviation ambitions have simply outgrown its infrastructure. So Ethiopia's government and its flagship carrier decided to think bigger, much bigger. In 2024, they unveiled plans for a new airport city. Not an upgrade, not an expansion, but a completely new aviation ecosystem. The location: Bishoftu, a growing town in Oromia region, about an hour's drive from Addis Ababa. Unlike the congested plateau where Bole sits, Bishoftu offers flat terrain and, crucially, lower altitude, which matters far more than most people realize. At high elevation, thin air reduces aircraft performance. Shorter takeoff distances, lower payloads, higher fuel burn. Bishoftu's altitude is hundreds of meters lower, giving planes the lift they need and saving millions in operational costs each year. The master plan, designed by the world-renowned engineering firm Dar Al-Handasa, envisions a futuristic aerotropolis, a self-contained airport city with multiple runways, passenger terminals, cargo zones, aircraft maintenance hubs, hotels, logistics parks, and even residential and commercial districts. The idea isn't just to build an airport, it's to create a city built around the airport itself. At full completion, the Bishoftu Mega Airport will have the capacity to process over 100 million passengers annually, a figure that rivals global giants like Dubai International or London Heathrow. Phase 1 alone, scheduled for completion in 2029, will handle around 60 million passengers, making it instantly the largest airport in Africa once it opens. To put that in perspective, Johannesburg's OR Tambo currently handles around 20 million passengers a year, while Cairo manages 25 million. Ethiopia is aiming for a quantum leap, not a step, but a sprint toward global scale. The cost? Around $10 billion, one of the largest infrastructure investments in Africa's history. But the logic behind that price tag runs deeper than prestige. For Ethiopia, this airport is not just about travel, it's a national strategy. Aviation is one of the country's biggest exports. Ethiopian Airlines contributes a significant share of foreign exchange and has been a rare example of African corporate excellence. With a fleet of over 150 aircraft, dozens of destinations, and partnerships that span continents, its growth is limited not by ambition, but by infrastructure. Bole's capacity ceiling has become a strategic threat. Every year of delay means lost traffic to competing hubs, Nairobi, Doha, Istanbul. So the new airport isn't just a nice to have, it's a survival move. If Ethiopia wants to stay on top, it needs an airport that matches its airline's global reach. Still, turning blueprints into reality is no easy task. Funding a $10 billion project in a developing economy demands creativity and confidence. Ethiopian Airlines has pledged roughly 20% of the total investment, a bold move for a national carrier. The African Development Bank has already committed $500 million as seed financing, and the Ethiopian government is courting additional investors from private partners to sovereign funds. Public-private partnerships will likely play a huge role, alongside potential loans from multilateral banks and infrastructure funds. Construction will roll out in phases. The first stage, 2 parallel runways, 1 major terminal, and initial cargo and maintenance facilities, is expected to take 4 years, once ground is broken, with operations projected to start by 2029. Subsequent stages will expand the passenger terminals, add more runways, and extend the airport city into a commercial and residential hub. But raising billions is only one part of the challenge. Building at this scale demands a steady economy, stable governance, and engineering expertise that can execute efficiently. Ethiopia's recent years have been marked by political unrest, regional tensions, and economic pressure from inflation and foreign currency shortages. Any of these factors could delay progress or inflate costs. Then there's the logistics. The Bishoftu site will require massive groundwork, kilometers of roads, utilities, drainage, and power connections before a single plane can land. Surrounding infrastructure like highways and potential rail links must keep pace, or the airport risks becoming a gleaming island disconnected from the rest of the country. Environmental and social impacts also loom large. Relocating residents, preserving water sources, and ensuring sustainability all add layers of complexity. So why take the risk? A functioning mega airport would anchor a thriving logistics ecosystem, from air cargo exports of coffee, flowers, and industrial goods to tourism, conferences, and global transit. It could create tens of thousands of jobs and attract foreign investment into hospitality, manufacturing, and services. Bishoftu Airport is also designed with Africa's future growth in mind. Air traffic across the continent is projected to more than triple by 2040. Middle-class expansion, e-commerce, and freer trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area are expected to drive unprecedented demand for air transport. Whoever builds the most efficient hub now will control a huge slice of that market later. In this race, Ethiopia isn't alone. Kenya is modernizing its JKIA and Konza city links. Nigeria has unveiled new terminals in Lagos and Abuja. Egypt is upgrading Cairo's hub while constructing its new administrative capital airport. But Ethiopia's vision is arguably the most ambitious. If completed as planned, Bishoftu will eclipse all of them in size and connectivity. The design reflects that ambition. Early renders show sweeping terminal roofs inspired by Ethiopian cultural motifs, blending tradition with ultra-modern efficiency. Wide glass facades will let natural light flood the terminal, while energy systems aim for sustainability. Solar power, smart waste management, and green landscaping are all part of the blueprint. The airport city will host hotels, retail centers, logistics parks, and residential zones for employees and travelers, forming a new urban core built entirely around aviation. Yet the big question remains, can it actually work? Mega projects across Africa have a mixed record. Some, like Kenya's SGR Railway or Egypt's new administrative capital, delivered impressive results but at high financial cost. Others, like Nigeria's Ajaokuta steel plant or Tanzania's Bagamoyo port, stalled halfway. Ethiopia itself knows both triumph and turbulence. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, a $5 billion hydro project, proved the nation's engineering resilience, but also how politics and logistics can stretch timelines by years. The Bishoftu mega airport will need tight project management, transparency, and continuous funding to avoid those pitfalls. The good news is that Ethiopian Airlines has an unusually strong operational culture. It's profitable, internationally respected, and experienced in large-scale logistics. Its success running modern fleets and building partnerships with global airlines suggests the management backbone is there. And there's a symbolic layer too. For Ethiopia, aviation is more than business, it's pride. The national carrier has been flying for almost 80 years, representing not just Ethiopia, but Africa's capacity to compete at world-class standards. This airport, then, is a statement of faith that Africa can not only dream big, but build big, sustainably and successfully. If the plan holds, the impact could be transformative. By 2029, Phase 1 could see tens of millions of travelers transiting through Bishoftu each year. Hotels, conference centers, and logistics hubs would sprout around it, giving birth to an entirely new city. Surrounding regions would see new expressways, improved housing, and new employment clusters. The ripple effect could extend far beyond Oromia, stimulating national GDP and inspiring neighboring countries to replicate the model. And on a continental scale, Bishoftu could become Africa's Dubai, a place where flights between continents connect through Africa rather than around it. For too long, Africans traveling between neighboring countries have had to route through Europe or the Middle East. A properly run, high-capacity African hub could change that dynamic, making Africa more connected to itself and to the world.
If completed on schedule, Bishoftu Mega Airport could be operational before the end of this decade, right as Africa's aviation market is projected to explode. By 2035, Ethiopia aims to be handling more than 100 million passengers a year, generating billions in revenue, and positioning itself as one of the top 5 global transit hubs. If it succeeds, it will stand as proof that the continent can master projects on the same scale as Asia or the Middle East. If it fails, it will still serve as a lesson in ambition, a reminder that progress is never without risk. But as every pilot knows, no plane ever left the ground without a little turbulence. So, can Ethiopia really build Africa's $10 billion airport of the future? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Africa is done watching others take off. It's ready to fly.